Lakers hold on to get the win. They survive a late Hornets push. They've now won 4 in a row, 6 of 7, and they're 8 games over 500 for the first time this season. They opened up a 23-point lead in the first quarter. AD had a monster game, but the Hornets were plus 24 from 3, and the Lakers turned the ball over, James, 19 times for 28 Charlotte points. That's what kind of kept Charlotte in the game, but the Lakers hold on to get the win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's almost the tale of two halves. You know, AD starting out dominating in the first half. Lakers had that big lead, and then all of a sudden they went away from that, started to turn the ball over, took Charlotte for granted. Even without ball, they were even, still a dangerous team, seemed like coming back. But, you take the win, you move on, and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I think throughout the course of an 82-game season, you're going to have games like this where they're not always going to be pretty, but you learn to accept the wins. You figure out, you watch the film, ways in which you can be better. I think the biggest thing is in the past, we've looked at box scores and seen 19 turnovers for 28 points. We've seen being outscored by 24 from deep, and it has not resulted in a win.
Yeah.
So using that word connected in moments when the game kind of gets twisted, something we're seeing move in the right direction for the Lakers. They got it done.
Like the fact they win the games they have to. Okay, we said on the pregame show, got to beat this team tonight. They're not very good, especially after they lose LaMelo Ball with 9 minutes of playing time. He's done. You got to beat Philly tomorrow. No Paul George and no Embiid. Lakers should be favored to do that. And finally, you got to win in Washington. That's really not a good team. They keep putting away the teams they're supposed to. Now 16-2 against teams below 500. That's impressive. I wish they were a little better against teams over 500. But bottom line, Geet, they did what they had to do. Wasn't pretty, lost a huge lead. Some people were really nervous about how this game was going to end, but they got it.
And that worries me. That worries me. The teams that they should put away, when you start like they did, you can't afford to give that up. You got to go ahead and finish that out. That's the one thing, teams that are not that good, especially without ball, you cannot allow them to get back in the game. That could have gone ugly. A couple of shots gone one way or the other, but I'd like to see them being able to finish these games and not allow teams to get back in the game.
By the way, Lakers have now defeated the Eastern Conference in 6 straight games after starting 3-7 this year, so that's a good sign. Let's go back to Charlotte. Jared Vanderbilt is with Mike Trudell.
All right, Jared, we know there are no easy wins in the NBA. Charlotte was always going to keep coming back. What did it take to just put them away down the stretch?
Man, it took us all locking in. The way the league going right now, a 20-point lead ain't safe, especially with a team like this that play hard, shoot a lot of threes. So we started off really well, and then that's on me and some of the second unit. We kind of, took a foot off the gas where we should have kept going. But shout out to the guys for locking in on those last 2 quarters and coming together and just playing harder than them.
Just your second game back from injury, Jared. Kind of a typical Jared Vanderbilt play, though. Halfway through the fourth quarter, you jump a passing lane, get the steal, go down and dunk it. You can tell kind of LeBron and AD came over to you and said, hey, that's what we need.
Yeah. That's what I feel like when I'm in my element. So shot wasn't falling. I'm still trying to get my feet under me a little bit. But the one thing I can't control is just playing hard and playing physical. And I think by picking up and trying to get them out of their sets, it kind of shifted the game for us. So
you guys are playing your best basketball of the season. The wins are coming now. What kind of rhythm do you think you're building as a team?
We're building great rhythm. It was a little funky today. We had lineups that hasn't played together, so it's going to take a little time. But guys are locked in on both ends of the floor. We communicating, we gelling, and we're just playing good basketball right now on both ends.
All right. Last one for you. I know you've got to get on the plane and get some ice on and go to Philly for a back-to-back. What's the key from a veteran like you in a back-to-back situation?
Recover your body, especially when we travel tonight. So make sure guys, do whatever they got to do, whether it's ice, stretch, treatment, get some sleep. It's a quick turnaround. So that's the main thing for back-to-backs.
All right, thanks, Vando.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Jared Vanderbilt, loved what he had to say there about controlling how you play hard and play physical. So AD, we mentioned the monster game that he had. These are the most career games with 40 and 20. You see AD down there in 9th place with 5. He actually has 6, but they don't count it because he did it again in the NBA Cup Finals a year ago,
Not
if
a
you
game.
recall that.
Not
Wilt
count
Chamberlain did it, 231 times. Elgin did it 34 times. Bob Pettit on there, some unbelievable names. Of course, Bob McAdoo, Big Game's friend, Kareem, your old teammate and good buddy, 16 times. Moses, 7 times. So pretty cool company for AD. Guys, he was absolutely magnificent. What he did in that first quarter, 21-11, He's the first guy. Listen, they've been tracking this since 1996. He's the first guy to ever do that in the first quarter of a game. Whoa. He's only the second guy to ever do that in any quarter. Giannis once did it as well. That alone, Big Game James, is absolutely an incredible stat.
Absolutely, Gita. And a lot of it he was doing with plays that were for him. Mm-hmm. But then what I love is what he was getting in traffic. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. I think he had 8 offensive rebounds tonight. And when he wasn't getting like open shots, he was outworking his opponents to get to the basketball. So he was on one tonight. It's nice.
231, by the way. I'm sorry. That is insane.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap
Taking nothing away from Anthony Davis and how incredible, but 231 is nuts. I think, too, just seeing the focus and what we saw from AD from the jump, everyone just looked like a drill cone out there, like an orange cone. Like he wasn't seeing any opponent and standing in his way. He was getting to his spots. He was getting what he wanted, and he did it within the flow of the offense. And I think, too, that really was something that was a catalyst for the offense there in the first quarter. As we talked about, the 11 assists on the 16 made field goals had everyone connected. I also think the positive, too, in a sense of first understanding when AD's not on the floor, that's something that needs to be, I think, addressed in a sense of how the offense flows, what the rotations look like. I know Vando just mentioned, and there was a lineup out there that hadn't had a lot of time with one another. But when things got tough, we didn't see AD fade away. We continued to see him throughout the second half. They went to him early in the third quarter and continued there in the fourth. And that's obviously a positive, and just understanding who your bread and butter is and feeding off that the rest of the way. Here
are some of the things we've been talking about a lot lately. Max Christie, playing good basketball. LeBron, ageless wonder at age 40. Dorian Finney-Smith, good acquisition for the Lakers. Austin Reeves, playing good, dishing out the ball, scoring the ball. You know who we're not talking about? Anthony Davis. Because I feel like we're so used to him getting 28 points, 12 or 13 rebounds, 4 or 5 stocks, because he's so reliable and so dependable. He doesn't like rip any headlines and say, yeah, I did this, I did that. So finally he did tonight with a 40-20 game. Good job by AD. And by the way, Mark Williams is having a pretty good run lately as the Charlotte center. He was just a speed bump for LeBron and for AD and for anyone who really wanted to get in that lane tonight. Good job, AD. Maybe we should talk about you a little bit more on these shows. There's been a couple other headlines we can get to, but great job by him tonight. He's just so steady. It's crazy.
All right, guys, let's talk a little LeBron James. 22 points, 8 assists, Big Game James, getting it done.
No question. I mean, as you hear LeBron speak in the post-game interview there, you can tell that he understood the importance of this game.
Yeah.
First one out after having success at home, beating a plus 500 team in Boston. So he knew they had to win. And getting the ball to AD, you heard him talk about that. No, he's not happy with the way Charlotte come back. They did hit a lot of threes, but the mission was accomplished. And that's what you want from your captain as he led the team to victory tonight. AD, of course, scored, but AD understands the importance of getting these games and moving on to the next one.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you can look at a schedule way ahead of time and think schedule loss, right? Many would say it'd probably be tomorrow in Philly, second night of a back-to-back. But you could also look at this one. I mean, they're the second worst team in the Eastern Conference, Charlotte is. They got 12 wins on the season. You're in Charlotte. LaMelo goes down in the first quarter, and human nature could have set in, and that's actually the opposite of what happened. The Lakers found a way to rally, and LeBron said it. We didn't come here to blow anyone out. We came here to win the game. As long as you get better, you take steps in the right direction, you live with that.
We're on the road again tomorrow night, and it's in Philadelphia this time. I know they got a couple people missing you'll tell us about. Then it's the Wizards, and then Saturday night, a huge showdown with the Knicks, and then you're back home you're back home in California, Los Angeles, but you got to go to the Intuit Dome and play the tough Clipper team.
Yep.
Who handled you just a week ago there, and then you got the Warriors at home. So you like this stretch of games, you're telling me.
I do, especially the next two. You got to end January on a strong note. Sixers, 10 games over 500. No Paul George tomorrow, no Joel Embiid. That's about 50 points and 25 rebounds that won't be in that lineup. And you got the Wizards after that. That team is 6-38. Just not a good team. If the Lakers win these next two games, right now they're 1 game behind Denver for 4th in the West. Denver just lost to Chicago. So if the Lakers win these next two, they could easily be in 4th. Denver's next game at the New York Knicks. So I'm really curious to see how they do. Again, two teams under 500, way under 500.
Don't overlook them. Don't look to the Knicks. Let's win the next two. Then you got the big showdown. And don't sleep on the egg rolls.